Welcome back to Racing with Jesse Rzinski. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Hope all the dads out there that you got to celebrate and do some cool stuff with your family. I know that we had a good time with Hannah's family and her dad yesterday. Did a lot of stuff, cookout, ladder ball, the beach, lots and lots of good stuff happening. So hopefully you had a good time. And belated happy Father's Day to all the dads out there listening. But other than Father's Day, there's actually, and Juneteenth, I know that's a thing, but and everyone that celebrated that, very happy for you too. But more importantly than any of those things, there was a lot of good racing. And for some reason, there was a lot of stuff that came on that you normally don't get to see that I just happened to catch. And there was stuff that they normally don't like give me the opportunity to watch at all that were randomly like in my DVR. So I'm glad it works when it wants to. And it gave me a lot of good stuff. So I'm very thankful for that. There was some great racing, some dirty stuff that happens, dirty moves from people, but it's racing. Rubbing is racing when you have fenders, when you're on like bikes sliding around on flat track doing the mud. Not like I find that to be slightly, crazy to do, but it's racing. People did it. There's crazy weather, whether it was heat. Anyone that watched any F1, it was crazy raining on Saturday through qualifying. Practice was farther off than qualifying, but by the end of it, there was at least a dry line for the track for qualifying. But man, when it was raining, and shout out again, Fernando Alonso and all of them who were just whipping through it like it was nothing the whole time. But a lot of good racing. TV broadcast, Fox let everyone down with their, coverage of the truck race at Knoxville. You could try to tell me that they didn't, but they did. And anyone that watched it, anyone that didn't watch, I'm gonna let you know that it's abysmal what they did. Not really, like they've fallen really far. If what happened, like what they let that happen on Saturday, I still can't believe that they did, but they dropped the ball big time on that one, and we will get to it. And there's a lot of series that I had to get to watch it. By the way, they need better TV deals so people actually know they're happening. It's better, to grow your sport and get sponsors and all that when people actually know that you're around and people can see you. Let's not forget about that. But first thing I got to see that was out of nowhere, caught me off guard, was the American Flat Track Series. And those guys, everyone says that I have, my craziness has no bounds or limits. Yeah, that series kind of does it for me. No, I would not. Would never jump on one of those slide around in the mud on one of those bikes. Don't care what anyone says. Call me whatever you want. Not doing it. That was insane. Fun to watch though. And they aired the races from May 28th and 29th, and then from June 11th. It was great to see them in my DVR again. It was one of those pleasant surprises for a change. Not me having something set to record and then it doesn't for a change. It was something, again, I had set to record, but I completely forgot about. And boom, it was there because there's so many times where I'm like, hit record, and then I come home and it's not there. But those flat track guys were great. First off, the 28th and the 29th, they ran at the Red Mile in Lexington, Kentucky. They only recapped the 28th quick, because they showed the two of the three main events from the 29th, but the recap from the 28th, there was a lot of good to get racing in there. Super Twins ran, and Dallas Daniels won on a Yamaha. Jared Meese came in second on an Indian, and James Rispoli came in third on a KTM. The Production Twins, James Rispoli got first on a KTM. Jesse Janish got second on a Harley Davidson, and Corey Texter got third on a Yamaha. Parts Unlimited, Morgan Mishler first on a Honda, Cody Kopp second on his KTM, and Trent Lowe third on his Honda, which gets us to Sunday the 29th. Again, the two main events that they actually showed us were, there's some good, crazy racing in there, especially in the Super Twins, because that was between Daniels and Meese. That was like the margin of victory is like 0.08 or something like that. It was the last coming off the straightaway thing. It was a great race, which followed us into the 29th. Production Twins, again, Jesse Janis got first on a Harley, Corey Texter second on his Yamaha, Ben Lowe third on his Yamaha. Parts Unlimited, Dalton Gauthier first on his Honda, Morgan Mishler second on a Honda, and Max Whale came back and got a third after getting completely wiped out by dude, like right away, hard hit. Red flag came out. He came back and raced, followed him all the way through the field and ended up beating him by 2 spots. So shout out to Max Whale. That was a hell of a ride after the hit he took when he went sliding up into that wall. I don't care how much padding there is. Hit that dirt like that still sucks. But Super Twins main event, Jared Meese first on his Indian, Davis Fisher second on his Indian, and then JD Beach third on his Yamaha. It was good racing. I just wish that we'd get to see it sooner than, 28th, 29th. We might as well be a month later, but at least it was on. Again, I don't remember what channel, but make sure you go through, because there's a lot of them on like CNBC and random channels. So if you ever want to see them, because the racing's good, you watch them just sliding sideways on those bikes, hitting divots, and just, I wouldn't do it. And it puts on a hell of a show. And then June 11th, they were in Laconia, New Hampshire. Production Twins, Billy Ross was first on his Harley, Jesse Janis second on his Harley, Dan Bromley third on his Yamaha. Parts Unlimited, Cody Kopp first on his Yamaha, Trent Lowe second on his Honda, and Chase Sadoff third on his Honda. And then Super Twins, JD Beach won on his Yamaha by a mile, Dallas Daniels second on his Yamaha, and Jared Vanderkoy third on his Indian. Again, you just got to look and find it. If you got Hulu for live TV or anything like that, you can go down there. There is auto racing. Yeah, when you're going through sports, and then motorsports, it's way down there. But if you go through both of them, they actually do have it set up where you can find like supercars, all kinds of stuff, and pick what you want to have. You just actually have to find it and go through all of that. Otherwise, there's so much random stuff on random channels that you wouldn't think about it that you're gonna miss, like the AMSOIL Off-Road Championship, which from earlier again in the year, June 4th and 5th, but randomly there it was on CNBC. And I love watching those guys bounce. Who doesn't like watching off-road racing? Crazy people. That's who doesn't like watching off-road racing, because those guys were getting it. It was from Antigo Lions Roaring Raceway in Antigo, Wisconsin, again from June 4th and 5th. I'm just going to go over some of them from Saturday and Sunday, because the list was like that long of all the races, and I didn't want to bore anyone to death. I'll save that for Walter going over all the USAC stuff on Friday. But great racing. Pro 4 Saturday, CJ Greaves first, Adrian Senni second, Kyle DeLuke third. Pro 2 Saturday, Mickey Thomas first, Jarrett Brooks second, Kyle Kleiman third. Pro Light Saturday, Brock Hager was first, Carson Parrish second, Trey Gibbs third. Pro Turbo SNS Saturday, Rodney Van Eperen first, Owen Van Eperen second, Robert Lord third. Pro Stock SNS Saturday, Brock Hager was first, CJ Greaves second, Jack Litorno third. Pro Am SNS Saturday, Logan Christian first, Bill Berger second, and Mike Caswell got third. And then I'm going to tell you the same races for Sunday, because I ran back-to-back days. Pro 4 Sunday, CJ Greaves was first again, Andrew Carlson second, Kyle DeLuke third. Pro 2 Sunday, Ricky Gutierrez first, Ryan Beat second, Kyle Kleiman third. Pro Light Sunday, Brock Hager first, Trey Gibbs second, Kyle Greaves third. Pro Turbo SNS Sunday, Kyla Chaney first, Rodney Van Eperen second, and Hamish Kelsey third. Pro Stock SNS Sunday, Brock Hager first, CJ Greaves second, Owen Van Eperen third. Pro Am SNS Sunday, Tyler Remeride first, Colin Kern second, and Logan Christensen third. And again, the list was really wrong. There's a lot of other series that I did not mention. Because again, I'd be talking for the next 10 minutes just on that, but there's super buggy, stock trucks, super stock trucks, short horse cart, and many other, like the list was super. How many people run throughout the 2 days? It's really worth it. They're off. So I think the next race is coming up, not this weekend, but next. But again, that was one of those. It's on CNBC. So, I don't know how you just search the channel and try to find it. Excuse me. And even if you don't get to watch it live, just set it to record and watch one, because those guys are beating the bejesus out of each other. There's just metal flapping everywhere, great racing, and I just like off-road and Bajaing and all that stuff. And then enduro stuff is exciting to me. I'm a big fan of it. So if it's not your thing, I mean, I completely understand, but if you've never given it a chance, check it out, because they actually, that was some great racing that they put on. I mean, and again, that's my opinion, but if you don't like people bahaing around over jumps and just beating and banging, metal flying everywhere and holding control, they're sliding around in dirt, mud, sand, all that stuff. Like, I'm sorry, but that stuff's great. It was really, really good. I was happy that it random, like, didn't even record it. I was just sitting there like, oh, cool. And I clicked just to see what it was. And suddenly, boom, there it was. CNBC. I don't think it's one of those you can even set to record, but I'm going to go back through and I'm done with this and see, because it wasn't there last time I tried. But Epic Racing, check it out, gets us to the Formula One Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. Crazy weekend. I will say it was a crazy weekend. If you watched, again, they had a practice and qualifying in the rain. I mean, it was coming down. So everyone, for how fast Fernando Alonso and Max and the Haas guys and all of them were going in those conditions, Lewis Hamilton up there, props to them, because that was insane. Again, go back, just look at videos from it. It was coming down. So congrats to all of them for making it through and having the intestinal fortitude to go that hard. I don't blame Charles Leclerc for not going out and trying to be crazy, because he had, the grid penalty. So he's starting in the back regardless, to change all those power components. So he was the one I don't blame him for not going out. I wouldn't have either, because what's the point? Even, chancing wrecking the car when you're already starting in the back. That's what power unit problem. Why even chance a whole car? But it was insane. Max got to pole his teammate Sergio Perez, him walking through the woods there, as you saw, like this little narrow footpath after he wrecked in qualifying. Like they couldn't cart him back, I guess, the amount of time, like walking like literally that far away from the St. like a drop down to the St. Lawrence Seaway. That was weird. Excuse me again. That was weird. And it didn't stop there for the weekend. Bad luck, but that was just, I won't understand that one. That was just weird. But Fernando Alonso, freaky can be. Kevin Magnussen and Mick Schumacher for Haas qualified 5th and 6th. That was great to see. Didn't carry on to the race. Bad luck happened, but we all know I'm going to cheer for the Haas guys. I've always, since Stuart Haas started, like NASCAR wise, and it was just Haas. And Tony got in there. I was a fan. Haas F1 fan. Like they got the drag stuff now. Fan. I'm about to feel the drivers in the team that I like. So it was good to see them up there. Again, bad Sunday. I think on lap 1, Kevin Magnussen already had front wing damage. So he had to go and have replaced. It's just a lot of bad stuff. But the race was really good. The safety cars made it, gave us differing pit strategies and stuff. Some people came and got tires then. It moved everyone around. But that racing at the end between Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz was amazing. I don't care what anyone says. He might not have been able to close in and get it, but they were right there on top of each other, and it wasn't like a normal Max win where he slows down the last couple laps just a little bit just to make sure he doesn't do anything stupid, and they catch him by 3 or 4 seconds, and he's still out ahead by 20. Like that happens so much. Got kind of old to see. So it was good to see everyone right there. Again, great race between them to the end, but Max Verstappen won. Carlos Sainz was 2nd. Lewis Hamilton got a 3rd. Thank God he needed it. And that, George Russell, his teammate, was 4th. So really good, to see them both right there. They've looked a little better lately. Hopefully it keeps going that way, but just to see Lewis actually in a good mood was a good, change of pace. Charles Leclerc got all the way back to 5th after replacing the power unit starting in the back. Ocon was 6th, Valtteri Bottas 7th, Zhou Guanyu was 8th, Fernando Alonso 9th, and Lance Stroll rounded out the top 10. K-Mag was right behind them. Perez didn't finish after a transmission issue. Mick didn't finish as a power unit. Like they just had, it was a weird day for Haas. I was glad to see that Max finished because normally when one of the Red Bulls had trouble, the other one did too. Yeah, I'm like glad to see it, but at least it was a good race for the win with Max. So, they got to get those power issues figured out. I've been saying that for how many weeks now? It seems like every day I'm saying it, but I'm sure they will just because of who they are. And overall, though, good racing. Sucked to see that happen. And Mick, because but I mean, they've just after qualifying, it was just a bad weekend for Haas. I mean, it just lap one with Kevin having trouble, lap 19 mix out, like it was just weird. Lots of trouble. Hopefully they get it figured out to run Ferraris and all that. So, there's got to be something going on there, but one day it's going to be clicking better, and then we'll all be sitting there, loud and proud and happy for them as can be. Because I like Kevin Magnussen. I should have stayed. They shouldn't have got rid of him in the first place. Brought him back, got him points. Nick Schumacher, young, he's going to get there. We know he's going to score points and all that sooner or later. They've got to get it all going, and I have faith that they will. Deep down inside. So I keep telling myself is that they'll get there. When, I don't know, but having Kevin back is a good step and help for them. So we'll see where it goes from there after that. Now only time will tell, but I think they'll turn it around. And again, a good race. Wasn't the biggest track on the planet, which is why it was a 70 lap race. So like 52, 54, 57 we have been running. So it was longer, but the laps were just clicking off. And thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked it. Just like the Camping World Truck Series race in Knoxville on the dirt in Iowa. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Qualifying races. John Hunter won his race. Carson Hocevar won race 2, with Jessica Friesen running 4th. Haley Deegan won hers, which was race 3, with Maddie D finishing 5th. And then Todd Gilliland won race 4. For the qualifying races, again, it was good to see Todd making his one-off for his dad's team. Good to see him run good. Good to see Haley win hers. They were coming there at the end. I honestly want to say she got lucky. If they had another couple laps, she was not winning that race, but she got it, and that's all that matters there. And Hocevar, I mean, he was just good all weekend until he wasn't, and was nothing of his own doing with that broken leg. So the kid's going to be really good. Once he starts winning, I think it's going to be hard to stop him. He has to get through all the bad luck and the stupid. And the racing from Iowa, I have no complaints really about the racing from Iowa. It was good. It's what we all expected it to be. And then comes in the problem of the coverage from Fox. Like it was abysmal. Like that's the easiest way I guess I could put it. That was terrible. Like that was terrible what they did with that whole entire thing. And I'm not talking about, the people, in the booth or anything. Those people are doing their jobs. But I mean, anyone that watched it knows exactly what I'm talking about. That was just for them to get away with that. Again, I'm going to get into it when it happens, but that was that killed the whole entire week because, again, the racing was good. I mean, at one point, you could literally, put a blanket over the top 3. Jamie Little doing good in the booth. Brett Moffitt was up there. Kraus on pole, Hocevar second. Hocevar won stage 1. Then again, stage 2, blanket over him. Over the top 3 of Hocevar, Kraus, and Todd Gilliland, racing their hearts out and doing really, really good. And they were running great until the Jessica Friesen caution. All they showed us was her stuck on top of the berm, the curb, whatever you want to call that big mound of dirt. And that's all they showed us. And then somehow all of us that were watching it then yesterday, I saw it from a NASCAR and NBC post of her car tumbling and barrel rolling and all that, which somehow all the cameras at Fox, the people in the booth, everything managed to miss that. Like, how bad do you have to be that you completely missed that? Like, please fill in the comments somewhere and tell me how bad. Like, give me some good reason as to how they could miss her truck barrel rolling completely, not even mention it during the broadcast. But the people that aren't covering the race somehow shared it out when Fox didn't mention it during it, didn't mention it after it, nothing. Like, that's a very piss poor. That's just terrible coverage. And again, they deserve better. I always say people deserve better. How the hell do you completely miss a truck barrel rolling down the straightaway and landing on the berm and don't mention one word about it at all? Like, they're getting the chewing that they deserve, and maybe they'll get better. But that was absolutely inexcusable that they completely missed that, and that killed everything for me. Because I like Jamie again in the booth. They had a good thing going. The racing was good, and people moving all over the track trying to find something. And just that, like, how do you miss that? Makes you guys look really, really dumb after how many complaints you've seen. Fox, bad things. We've all seen them do stupid stuff during the broadcast. Then they turn around and do that, and they wonder why everyone's pissed off all the time. Well, maybe if you guys didn't keep doing that, we'd be nicer to you. Well, that's inexcusable. So hopefully they'll say something or figure it out. That just sucked. Carson Hocevar dominated again until he blew up on the restart. That left Todd Gilliland out front and led him to winning stage 2. It was good to see Todd Gilliland back. Yeah, just a smile on his face while he's down there is great. Brett Moffitt got hit with the black flag for jumping the restart, which ruined his night, gave the lead over to Grant Enfinger. And then after that, the race was just between Todd Gilliland and John Hunter Nemechek, and they were out in their own league for a very large portion of it. And even with everything else that happened, Todd Gilliland gets the win. It was one race there driving for his dad. I think they didn't put it together until Monday or something. He said, but no better Father's Day gift than winning the truck race, driving for your dad the night before Father's Day. Like, that was really, really cool to see. And again, you've heard me and Walter talk enough about, how I think what's going to happen with him and Front Row. Like, they've called Alfredo up. They called a lot of people up, John Hunter, and then sent him right back because the car wasn't that super competitive, and they weren't ready yet. And I don't want to see that happen to him, but it was great to see him go back down there in the Truck Series with his dad's team and win that race. So good on him. John Hunter Nemechek second, Zane Smith third, Ty Majeski fourth, Stuart Friesen got a fifth, Derek Kraus sixth, Matt Crafton got a seventh, and did he need it? It was good to see him up there and competitive. Grant Enfinger eighth, Tyler Egg from ninth, Ben Rhodes 10th. Matty D got a 14th, so good, run for him. And Haley got a 15th. And Haley D, which is still, better than a lot of her runs, just because she's had so much bad luck this year. So I can't complain about that. It was good to see her up there. And she was, her and Matty D were both a little higher than that. The last little bit just slid back a little. These things happen, It was good to see. And really, I mean, regardless how it was, I can't believe Fox dropped the ball that bad. And another thing that I noticed while watching that, and I know all you guys that, anyone that watched it will agree. Again, comment and tell me. But there was a lot of empty seats in the stands for that truck race. A lot. Amazingly, they never had that problem in Eldora. That place was to the rafters, people sitting on the grass, everything. Like, that place was packed. There's almost no one at Knoxville, which I think that means the people have spoken. And the rumors about us having a Chicago street course pisses me off, but people have spoken. We never had that problem with Eldora. Great race. I love the racing in Knoxville. I thought there should have been more people there. And then they wouldn't have had to worry about the Fox broadcasting completely, them dropping the ball on a truck barrel rolling and not even mentioning it. Not even after the race. I haven't seen anything. But Eldora had so many more people than there were last night. And it was, it was a shame to see that night. But racing was good. And that's the important part. That's all you can ask for. It moves us on to the important thing, which is the SRX series at Five Flags. Debut of the second season. The best part, all the drivers in there. We went over it. I mean, I know you guys, can't read that, but Five Flags, announced racers before that day. Yeah, the night of the race. Let's see, Paul Tracy, Ryan Hunter-Ray, Bobby Labonte, Ryan Newman, Marco Andretti, Michael Waltrip, Greg Biffle, Tony Stewart, Tony Kanaan, Bubba Pollard, who's the local legend, as they call it, Bill Elliott, and Ernie Francis Jr. And Helio Castro Neves got added that morning of the race. And what he ended up doing with that was just amazing. But I loved it. Again, having all kinds of weird issues last year, so I didn't get to see any SRX. I knew it was coming. And then, it's just And Hannah was just moving in. We were doing all, I was just so busy just doing something with her family, doing this, doing that. And I completely forgot it was even on. And I'm so happy that I got to catch it. That was good. If you guys didn't, catch it, find it. Whatever your, provider is, find it and try to watch that race because that stuff was phenomenal. Heat one, local legend Bubba Pollard won. Tony Kanaan was second. Tony Stewart was third. Paul Tracy fourth. Marco Andretti fifth. And then they did something that I really liked for the second heat, and they inverted the field. You put your two combined, to see starting position, from who had the best down and all that. And heat two, Helio Castroneves won with Michael Waltrip second, and they were the last two guys in the first one. Then Ryan Newman third, Billy at fourth, Bobby Labonte was up to there in fifth. I think Bubba Pollard got back up to seventh from last. And that tiny little track, it was impressive. And then the main event, I love saying that Helio Castroneves went out there without even being, no one even knew he was in the race until that morning. To get into one of those cars and to go out and win the race. That was fantastic to see. Very excited for it. And I'm looking forward to his, Cup Series race. I believe he's running at one of the road courses. That'll be really cool to see. I think he's doing it with the Trackhouse initiative that they're doing. So that's really exciting. Bubba Pollard outraced Newman for a second. He held on to it. There at the end, they're all over each other, but he got it. So good on him for Bubba Pollard. Again, Newman was third. I still think he should have a ride over some people, but I'm going to leave that at that. Tony Kanaan fourth, Bobby Labonte fifth, Greg Biffle sixth, Marco Andretti seventh, Ryan Hunter-Reay eighth, Bill Elliott ninth, Tony Stewart 10th, Ernie Francis Jr. 11th, Paul Tracy 12th, and Michael Waltrip back in 13th. And what I'll say about it is the racing was exciting. I like, just the feel of it. It was a completely different thing, and having a great crew around them, like people on the pits were good. They're faces that we know, people we like. There's a great team they had in the booth with Alan Bestwick and Connor Daly. They did a great job. And Connor Daly, if you ever somehow hear this, I know you liked some of my tweets while I was tweeting during the race. Like, you and Alan Bestwick killed it. I love Alan Bestwick. I think they did a fantastic job. The pit reporters were good. Cameramen, the crews, drone operators, like all those people, because it was so hot out. Like, you could see them all done. It was like 144 in the car when heat race one started. And it was over 100 out. And those guys were just, gassed. And you could see they're losing it. And they made it all the way through. And they deserve all the credit in the world, because I know what it's like to do that kind of stuff and all that heat, let alone the drivers. Because the drivers, that was just to go through that much heat and sweating and just misery and to put on that good of a show. That was fantastic. So shout out to everyone involved. I'm definitely looking forward to the next race. I'm super looking forward to the rest of the season and carrying on, because they put on races like that were good. And it's only their second season, and that crowd, they were rammed in there to see that, which is something that not everyone, seems to be able to get. So very exciting. Next race, South Boston, which I'm really looking forward to. And it'll be a good one. And again, same lineup, except the local legend will be Sellers. Bill Elliott won't be in it. Helio Castroneves was already scheduled to be in it. So a little bit of changes, but great stuff. So if you can go under DVR and find anything, CBS runs the races around 8 on Saturday nights, and it was great. So please make sure to watch it. Again, we're doing those tracks. We're going to end it on dirt, like really cool stuff. So give it a looky-do, because I thoroughly loved every second. If you need a schedule, I'll make sure I put it up places where you can personally message me, and I can see about getting it to you, whether, text, email, messenger. I can get to you somewhere so you can see it and all the drivers in there if you don't have it. But that's where I'm going to leave it on the weekend. On the high note, on the really good note, start out good with good racing, get dumb stuff, and then finish it on the really good one. All I gotta say is Fox dropped the ball on that one, so still waiting for them to say anything. But that was just egregious what they did there, how they didn't mention it at all. And then NBC did when they didn't even have coverage there, cameras. Like, that's bad. Good for Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes, get up there third and fourth, see him on the podium. Happy Lewis, Again, I see people complaining on the internet about them barking about the car, but I mean, you try driving that fast, like bouncing, literally sitting in the car, slamming off the ground that much at that speed, like that's going to cause pain. And I say complain away to the engineers because that's the best they can come up with. Right. All that money. I'm pretty sure no one should tell the drivers to shut up as they're the ones winning in your cars, which keeps, sponsors and all that happy, which keeps all of their pockets lined. So shut up on that. SRX was great. I wish AMSOIL, the AMSOIL off-road and flat track was aired on time and more just like I am with ARCA. But we can only hope. I don't think they're going to do it. It would be great for them. I think they need it. It would help them out so much, but only time will tell. I don't see them. They'll be like, well, you can listen to it on the radio or get these two things. Like, how about you just put them on TV when there's like, I get you can't cover all like the USAC and so, like there's so many of those you can't get, but stuff like that, if you can air it at any time, you should, figure out how to air it like when it's happening, so more people get a chance to see it, not just randomly on Sunday out of nowhere. Because I think that's completely unfair. It doesn't do the series any service at all. But again, that's where I'm leaving it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow along on the Facebook page, for Racing with Jesse Rosinski. Go on Twitter because I live tweet during all the races, just like wrestling events, at Racing Rosinski. I'm on Anchor, Breaker, Stitcher, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, all over. And Good Pods. That's the big one. Thank you to everybody on Good Pods for getting me the numbers that I'm getting every week. Keep getting it out to more people. Numbers keep going up. And you make me very, very happy and super appreciative when I see that. So thank you very much. And check out everything that I mentioned. If you want anything, again, message me, comment on it. I can get people, anything they want to see, whether it's schedules or drivers, anything like that. And I will be back on Friday with Walter. So enjoy the rest of your week. Again, don't forget to follow along on everything, share everything out, YouTube, Rumble for the videos, subscribe. That's all you got to do. It takes 2 seconds. And then again, you can listen to it, go to the channel, find the video, hit like, write a little comment, rate everything, especially on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, all that. I appreciate ratings on the Facebook page too, because that helps bump it up when you type in racing. As be one of the ones that automatically pops up for people. So if you can do that for me between now and Friday, I'd be eternally grateful. But I'll be back Friday with Walter to talk about everything coming up, because again, another big weekend for racing from all over the world. So a lot to cover, good times. So enjoy the rest of your week. Be good to each other. Share this thing out, follow along, rate everything. And until Friday, my friends, peace.